Guys, in front of you is a 2016 BMW M235i xDrive with 28,000 miles. Now, the BMW 2 Series was originally introduced in America in 2014 as a sporty derivative coupe to the other BMW sedan models, and it has taken off pretty successfully since then. Now, in the 2016 model year, it was the same year that BMW launched the M2 Coupe, which is the highest tier 2 series model available. And in 2016, this was the closest addition you can get to that, being the M235i. Now, in modern times, the highest tier 2 series is the M2 competition model, which is a more enhanced sport model of this vehicle. Now, this vehicle itself has the inline 6-cylinder twin-turbo engine. It produces a lot of speed and is a pretty quick vehicle, as you will come to see. And sales-wise, the 2 Series has been doing pretty good. It was available in the coupe and convertible models, as it still is. So in this video, I'll be taking you around the M235i xDrive, showing off its various features, its luxury, its sportiness, and showing you how fun this vehicle truly is. Stay tuned. Starting with the exterior of the 2016 M235i, you can see it is fastened with this lovely estoril blue exterior. It really gives this car a really sporty and mean and lean looking look. And one nice feature that BMW fits you with if you purchase this vehicle, as you can see, the brake calipers match the exterior color, as you can see within the wheel well right there. It's a nice little attention to detail on BMW's part, and if you look closely in the tires as well, you can see the M badge on the rim to remind you that you bought the high tier 2 Series in 2016. Very nice. And moving to the rear of the M235i, as you can see, BMW fastens the badging on the rear to show that you got the M package of the 235i. Very nice. And as we move above, you can see the rear lip spoiler on the rear. It's very nice, adds a very sharp looking flow to the back of the car. And as you can see, the flushed look of the 235i kind of transitions throughout the entirety of the car. As you can see, it flows with the L-shaped taillights, with the spoiler, and this chiseled line kind of runs from the rear of the car all the way down the entire length of the vehicle, adding a very sharp and sporty look to this coupe. It's very nice. And standing face to face at the front of the M235i, being that it is the M235i edition of this vehicle instead of the standard 235i or 228i, as you can see, BMW gives the front of this vehicle a very aggressive and mean-looking exterior, and everything beyond that is proportioned nicely. You don't have the blaring kidney grills. Everything is nice and proportioned nicely to fit the size of this car. It looks mean, it looks sporty, and it just displays the speed that this car truly has. If you were to compare this side by side with a standard 2 Series edition of this vehicle, you could notice the difference. As you can see on the lower portions of the skirt, that it is very chiseled and sporty looking on the exterior. The only meager disadvantage to the sporty looking grille in the front is the lack of fog lights on the bottom. Instead of fog lights, you get an extended grille, but nonetheless, it's not a terrible mishap with this vehicle because it adds to the sporty look as previously mentioned. And aside from that, if you look at the front headlights, they are very nice looking, kind of in the bulb-like shape with the flowing line above them. Very nice look overall, despite the fact there's no fog lights, but aside from that, no big deal. And one last little touch I want to make on the exterior before we move to the inside of the M235i is you can see the two-toned mirror on the side. It is a bit of a different look on the M235i opposed to just sticking a typical matching blue mirror instead. Nonetheless, it gives it a distinct look, and the two-tone is pretty flashy, and it just kind of goes along hand in hand with the sporty color of the vehicle. Nice nonetheless. And one nice option which is fitted to this 235i model, it doesn't come standard with every single edition, but as you can see, if you touch the door handle, it has keyless entry. So all you have to do is open it up, put your finger there, and the door unlocks for you, so you don't have to take out your keys every time you come and return to your M235i. Convenience at its finest. And one thing you will recognize when you open the door of the M235i, you are instantly greeted with the badging on the door jamb, boasting that you got the M package of the 235i in this very shiny chrome lettering. And if we move up a little, you can see the very nice black leather seats. Though it is a small coupe and these seats are not massive like the sides of a big full-size luxury SUV, as you can see, the leather seats are very plush and cushiony. A little bit firm, but not too bad, as it is still a pretty new car with low mileage. Nonetheless, it is a BMW and they will not package your vehicle with crap. So it is a very nice texture to the seats for when you go flying down the highway in your M235i. Moving to the interior of the M235i, as you can see, the steering wheel is wrapped this very smooth, prestigious leather material, matching the black interior. You got your various options on the steering wheel, your call button, your volume knobs, your setting knobs to mess with the infotainment system, hands held while you're driving. As you can see though, it is a very clean look as everything else in this vehicle. And as you can see on the bottom portion of the steering wheel, there is a little M logo once again to remind you that you bought the nice trim level of this vehicle right under the BMW logo on the steering wheel. Very nice interior with the steering wheel. And as previously mentioned, the interior of this vehicle has very nice attention to detail. As you can see, there is a lot of carbon fiber-ish looking material on the interior. As you can see, the door handle, the AC vent, a little bit in the center console, as you can see here by your infotainment system navigation buttons. And as you can see on the glove compartment side, there is more fastened there. And if you look closely underneath the carbon fiber-ish materials, there is a matching blue interior line that kind of runs throughout the entirety of the vehicle. And as you can see, it runs all the way to this side as well, fastened underneath the AC vent. Very nice attention to detail on the interior of the M235i. Moving to the gauge cluster of the M235i, as you can see, the upper portion of the gauge cluster are actual gauges themselves, but the lower portion of the gauges is all a screen, which adds a pretty unique look to the interior gauge cluster of the vehicle. As you can see, nothing too overly complicated. As you can see, your speedometer, your odometer, your gas gauge, your RPMs, all the usual stuff. One nice little touch though, as you can see in the lower corner right here, the M235i badge is boasted in chrome on the gauge cluster, once again to boast the edition you purchased in this vehicle, emulating that sporty aura of the vehicle. Very nice on BMW as well as everything else is in this vehicle, but it adds to the very modern and sporty look. And as you can see in the gauge cluster as well, you have your scrolling knobs right here. And as you scroll up and down with the steering wheel, you can see the various entertainment settings changing right in front of you and the gauge cluster to help keep your eyes on the road and maintain the convenience of driving in your M235i. And as you can see here, fastened to the lower left side of the steering wheel, you have your various headlight settings in the M235i in case it is raining. As it always is in my reviews, it's good old New Jersey. This is the 11th review I've done. It's probably been raining, I'm almost certain, for like at least 8 of them, so nothing's changed here in good old New Jersey. Anyway, back to the headlight settings of the M235i. You have them right here to the left side of your steering wheel. Underneath you have a little storage cubby, which is perfect for coins, very handy and useful. And everything else is standard with your AC vents and gauge cluster, everything in front of you in the interior of the M235i, as I previously mentioned. And moving to the infotainment system in the M235i, as you can see, the screen is fastened above the AC in the middle, and it is a very clear adaptive screen with very nice graphics. One nice feature in the interior of the M235i is your parking rear backup camera. As you can see, you press this button and this display pops up on the infotainment screen. As you can see, there are warning sensors in both the front and rear of the vehicle, and if something is approaching you or you are approaching something and getting close in proximity to it, it will warn you so you can avoid hitting it and damaging your vehicle. A couple other nice features, as you can see, as far as the camera goes, there are navigational direction lines for when you're pulling out, and depending on the position of the steering wheel, as you can see, if you turn it, the lines will rotate as well to guide you in the proper direction for the best method of leaving the parking space. Very nice touches on BMW's part. One other nice feature on the infotainment system of the M235i is the handwriting navigation settings. In case you didn't feel like typing it in by scrolling through with the mouse pad, you can simply handwrite it on top with letters or numbers to the direct address that you wish to go to. And as you can see, if you put all the numbers in and write, it picks up to your handwriting pretty much with anything, and it's a very adaptive system, which is very nice. So, in case if you want to get directions anywhere, or to a Pizza Hut in Florida, as you can see, you can get these addresses just by simply writing it out. Pretty convenient on BMW's part. Another very nice feature on the infotainment system of the M235i is the split screen option, where you can have multiple displays running at the same time. As you can see on the left, you have your navigation settings to show you where you are while you are driving, which is very handy. And as you can see, you have your entertainment features as well to display the music or the album you are listening to while driving down the road in your M235i. And this works with various settings as well. Whatever you'd want to do, just use the split screen method, and it increases your availability to see whatever you desire while driving your BMW M235i. Pretty nice, and everything, as I mentioned multiple times throughout this video, is very convenient and simple, but nice methods on BMW's part. And moving along with the general interior of the M235i, as you can see, you have your basic BMW interior, very nice as well, your AC, radio, playlist settings, all normal and standard as you can see here, nothing too specific, but pretty nice looking though overall. Moving below, you have a little change drawer right here beneath the center console, a cigarette lighter or USB charger right here, 2 cup holders fastened in front of the gear shifter right here. And one thing that is a bit different opposed to other former BMW models in the earlier 2000s, the various drive modes, instead of putting it in sport, which you can do in this vehicle as well, just only in sport mode, your other drive modes are switched to these little buttons right here. And as you can see, as I flip them up, you can see the various modes. You have sport mode, Sport Plus mode, where the traction control is taken off for the optimal performance in the M235i. And then you have your standard comfort mode, which is your normal driving mode. And then in case you want to be eco-efficient, you can put it into Eco Pro mode and maybe save yourself a mile or 2 per gallon at the pump, which is always convenient in case you want to save a little bit of money. unless those are your various drive modes in your M235i. And as I said before, this is a coupe. Nonetheless, it has rear seats in case you want to carry 4 passengers in your M235i. And I will now demonstrate how you can get into the rear of this vehicle. Basically, all you got to do is take the little strap right here, pull it forward, push the seat up, and then you can climb into the rear of the M235i. And when you do get back here, push the seat back a little bit, move it back. With the seat pushed back fairly far, there's a surprising amount of legroom, more than you might think. I'm 5'10" about. I'm stretched out pretty far with the seat pushed fairly back a decent amount. And there's still a pretty solid gap of space between my legs and the seat. So in case you do need to fit 4 people in this vehicle, it's not like it is cumbersome and it is like an impractical method of transportation. You could definitely do it, although it might not appear from the exterior. Very nice and convenient on BMW as well. And moving to the rear of the M235i, as you can see, you have 2 little storage pouches on each of the front 2 seats in the rear in case you want to store something small. Have it on the driver's and passenger side door. As you can see here, you have 2 little AC vents for the rear seat passengers, a cigarette lighter back here, and then a standard seat next to you. One slightly peculiar feature I will mention about the back seat is there is no really middle seat for a 5th passenger unless you really need to fit a 5th person in here, and they can sit uncomfortably on this weird little tray. There are no cup holders, and there's nothing that folds down either in the rear center console. It is just leather cushion for a seat, although there's not really a seat here, just this random tray inserted and embedded into the back of the M235i. Nothing too impractical, just a bit of an odd touch opposed to the standard middle bench seat in the rear of a BMW sedan. Not horrible though. So getting behind the wheel of the 2016 M235i, this thing has got some serious pickup for real. Like, I'm in comfort mode. I barely have my foot to the floor and I'm hitting 50 like almost instantly. And like, not only that, but like the exhaust note, like it's so pure of an exhaust note for a stock 6-cylinder inline twin turbo car. It sounds mean and it's powerful, but like at the same time it's smooth and comfortable like a BMW should be. And like every other German vehicle that I've driven, I feel planted, I feel in control. It feels smooth, but it's speedy. It's just a very nice driving experience brought to you. And the seats are comfortable too, and it floats. There's no sluggishness. It's adaptive right to your foot, and it's got great pickup, and there's no lag. It's very nice. About to take a turn in the vehicle. See, I'm assuming the turning radius is good. It's not a large vehicle, not a heavy vehicle. Taking a semi-sharp turn. Turns nicely. And then doing the same thing again, making a little U-ey, testing out the turning radius. It feels very planted, like the 535i felt, the A4 felt, and the Passat even felt surprisingly like a German vehicle. Oh my god, holy shit. Wow, I barely touched it in sport mode and I can already feel the launch. That is insane. About to get onto a little side road right here in sport mode. We're just gonna hit it. Oh my god. Barely put your foot to the floor and you just take off. I barely put my foot to the floor. I had like it barely tapped the pedal and it shoots you in 50 right off the bat. It's so quick. It almost like throws you back of how quick the acceleration is in sport mode. Like, the one thing like I will say, oh my god, like just barely getting my foot on the thing, it just takes you. I stutter when I do this because it's fun to drive this thing because the acceleration is just so quick, and I'm not used to this for driving a big boatish pickup truck typically, but I don't know how you couldn't drive this thing in sport mode if you owned one of these things, despite maybe the gas mileage factor, because it depletes it a little bit when you put it in sport. But I'm doing about 55-ish, and the exhaust, it sounds ferocious and grunty and mean and powerful. But it's weird to think that for a stock exhaust for a 6-cylinder car sounds this mean and tamed. It's weird to think. And the braking is very, very sharp, as you would expect in a small coupe like this made by BMW. Everything is precise. You feel in control of everything. Sitting at a stoplight, it's a fun car. It's speedy. The exhaust is powerful. And you get everything. If you want to drive it in comfort mode, it's fine. It's a good daily driver because it's a practical car. But if you want to have a little bit of fun on the weekends with your BMW, put this thing in sport mode. Listen to that great exhaust sound as you can hear, hopefully, and just go for a little drive. Alright, let's go. Here we go. Listen to that exhaust, holy shit. Yeah, this thing is, it's quick nonetheless. You heard the exhaust right there, just hitting it down a straightaway. It's speedy. Holy shit. Woo, man. This thing... Yeah, this thing's got power. There's no underestimating that. Oh my god. I wish, driving this thing makes me wish that my truck somehow was sporty, because it's just so nice to hit this thing and floor it, because the exhaust just sounds so good when you hit it. When it throws you back, it feels like it's as if you're driving the M2 itself. You feel that power and control when you're driving this thing. Is there anybody coming? The exhaust is so ferocious on this thing. It really gets you. Wow, oh my god. God damn. And you feel so planted too, when you're hitting it quickly, you feel in control even though you're going 60 on a sharp little road. The handling is so well on this, and the engine response in this just instant. It feels so good. It is now time for the interview section, where I answer 6 generic questions one would ask when going to purchase a vehicle. Question number 1 is, do I like the 2016 M235i? And if you couldn't tell so already, the answer is yes. I was looking forward to reviewing this car for a decent amount of time after my friend purchased it. I am very happy to have gotten my hands on it and been behind the wheel of it. It is a lot of fun to drive. So yes, I do like the M235i. Question number 2 of the interview section, as you can see the lightning in the background. My favorite part of the M235i is clearly the driving experience. Although everything else in this vehicle is very nice with interior and comfort, the driving experience is hands down the best part of the vehicle, as it is a very fun vehicle to drive, as you can see with my emotion in the driving section. Question number 3 of the interview section is, what is my least favorite part about the 2016 M235i? And that would have to be the very large storage panel on the side of the door. Although it is a very nitpicky feature, there's not much I dislike about this vehicle, but putting my left leg to the side, it almost hits it for how large it is. I can practically stick my entire hand in the compartments of these things. And yes, it means the storage is very nice, don't get me wrong, but it is a bit awkwardly sized and shaped, and there's really nothing else that I could choose that I dislike on this vehicle. So aside from that, this would probably have to be my least favorite feature. Aside from that, though, everything else is very nice. Question number 4 of the interview section is, what is the most outlandish part of the M235i? And as I mentioned while in the backseat of the vehicle, it is this weird little divot where a middle bench seat passenger would be in the rear. Instead, you have a weird tray, no cup holders or anything, just this awkward tray kind of planted in the back middle of the M235i. Probably the most bizarre feature in this vehicle is there's not that much else that's quirky in this car. Question number 5 of the interview section is the M235i worth its value? And I would say yes. You can get a 3-year-old one of these for about mid $30,000 with low mileage, just less than 30,000 miles, and it was bought for about mid 30,000s. And for that price, you are getting a very solid vehicle. You are getting a practical car you could take to work, and you're also getting a fun car you can use on the weekends just to have fun or show off to your friends. And it's a practical and sporty vehicle, and for a mid $30,000 asking price with good practicality, I would say it's definitely worth its value. And question number 6 of the interview section is, would I ever want/own the 2016 M235i? And if you couldn't guess already, the answer is yes. I would love to own a sporty little coupe like this one day in the future as a differential to my big, beefy, uneconomical truck. Like I said, it is a very fun car to drive. Everything, all the materials are very nice. And as I mentioned, every single other review I've done of a BMW, Audi, Volkswagen, or any German car in general, the driving experience is so nice, and it is just a great car to drive. So yes, I would want or own the M235i. Now that we've evaluated the M235i's individual characteristics and sportiness, it is now time to see where it falls on the Lemlist evaluation scale. Before I begin, as always, I would like to give a huge shout out and thank you to my friend Omer for helping me edit this video, as well as giving me the car for the production of this video. Now on with the scoring. Starting with the exterior of the M235i, the exterior is very simple and sporty and rugged looking. It is very quick and lean, and it gets a 7 out of 10 for the exterior. Continuing with the interior, like the 535i, the interior is very suave and simple and luxurious, nothing overbearing but nice, and it gets a 7 out of 10. Road trip on the M235i is nice as well. Leather seats are nice high quality, however it is not pillowy and cushy like a Rolls Royce would be, but nothing uncomfortable by any means, so it gets a 5 out of 10. MPG on the M235i is pretty solid. The combined estimated MPG is 25, which earns it a 6 out of 10. Storage on the M235i is pretty decent for a coupe. You're not going to get a load of storage like a full-size luxury SUV, but you are not limited like a roadster, and it gets a 4 out of 10. Character on the M235i is strong. It is a sporty and imposing-looking vehicle. The coupe and the overall sportiness gives it a good character, and it gets a 7 out of 10. Wishlist on the M235i is very good as well. There's not that much I could ask for, maybe aside from better storage. However, it is a coupe, so nonetheless, it gets an 8 out of 10 for the wish list. Handling on the M235i is very strong as well. This is most likely the best handling car that I've ever driven. As I mentioned in the driving section, you are very planted to the road in the quick coupe, and it gets a 7 out of 10 for the handling. Excitement on the M235i is pretty strong. To non-car enthusiasts, you might not know what this is, but to car enthusiasts, this will definitely catch your eye as a sporty vehicle, and it gets a 6 out of 10 for the excitement. Stupidity on the M235i is pretty strong as well, in a good way. Aside from the awkwardly sized storage compartments and the weird tray in the back, there's nothing else I could really complain about, and it gets a 7 out of 10 for the stupidity. Price on the M235i is pretty strong as well. Though it appreciates a bit because it is a German luxury vehicle, you can still purchase one of these with pretty low mileage for mid 30,000, which is a good deal for a fun coupe like this, so it gets a 6 out of 10 for the price. Engine responsiveness is very strong as well. As you saw in the driving section, this thing took off in sport mode and comfort mode, and it is very adapted to your foot, so it gets a 7 out of 10 for the engine responsiveness. And overall amenities on the M235i is very strong. It is a luxury vehicle with a fun counterpart side to it for both economical and weekend fun driving. It gets an 8 out of 10 for overall amenities. Add that all together, you get a grand total of 85 out of 130. Divide that by 13 categories is 6.54. The M235i is the new king of the lemon list as it overtakes the 2011 535i, as it is a bit more fun beyond the practicality of both vehicles. Beyond the rest of the range, since this is the most fun car that I've driven, the extra points is evident, and the reason why it is the new leader above the practicality of the coupe as well. And with that, the M235i looks to be dethroned in the future, but it will remain atop the list for a bit. Thank you for watching, and there is more reviews in store.